Hey everyone, welcome back to Let's Talk. I'm John and this is Matt and this is episode 3 of Let's Talk Physical Media. This is just our show where we just hang out, we talk about movies, the new 4k's that are coming, some questions that you guys have asked us, and just some other random topics. We just kind of shoot the shit for about an hour and see where it goes. So, we decided we're going to start off today with some of the new announcements that just got announced for this week. The first one that I think just got announced right after we made last week's video, which is we were talking about the Icons of Horror, and they're coming out with
Universal Monsters.
The Universal Monsters. The originals are all coming individually packed to 4K.
Yes.
And they're all going to have their own solo discs and their solo packaging, which looks really cool.
So I want to stop you right there, because I know we're indifferent on this.
Yes.
You can nitpick from a collection and just take the ones you like, where I prefer, even though I don't like some of the movies, I want the whole box set just because I'm a completionist. So, are you going to get the original box set, or are you going to nitpick?
Oh, I'm going to nitpick. I'm going to go on there and grab...
It irritates the hell out of me.
No, I'm just going to go in there and probably just grab the Invisible Man. And maybe I'll grab Frankenstein.
Really? I like the Wolfman.
Well, the Wolfman, I believe, is that in the original one?
Yeah.
That's in the original set? Okay, so I get that. But they just announced the Volume 2, and I'll probably do the same thing. I'll wait, because out of the 4 movies that are in that, one is Bride of Frankenstein, which I like. My favorite is A Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Right.
That's a great movie, and they actually kind of have like a spiritual sequel in The Shape of Water, which won Best Picture.
Never saw that.
Great movie.
You're the film guy. I'm the
thrills
guy.
You go for the thrills and chills?
Yeah.
And then they also, and this one also has The Mummy and The Phantom of the Opera. Now, I'm not a big fan of the original Phantom of the Opera. Definitely not a fan of the original Mummy. So
Not sure I've seen The Phantom of the Opera. I think I've seen... Now,
my
dad showed me these movies when I was a kid. Specifically, The Invisible Man stands out the most to me.
Me too.
And Wolfman. Those are the two big ones.
So that's the original set.
Right.
So you're going to try and get that? Because it's always on sale for pretty cheap.
Yeah, it's like 50-something bucks. I'll get to it eventually. I'm not in a rush to watch those.
I like to watch them around this time of the year, though.
My backlog is insane.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough fall to go through. And, I don't know. I might get the part 2, maybe. Like I said, I'm a big fan of The Creature of the Black Lagoon. I'm really excited that's coming. And, I never seen the original Phantom of the Opera, actually. I've seen the remakes.
I never saw that either. That's the one with the half the mask.
Yeah. I always think of Now Always Sunny, where he's like, the costume's too sexy.
It's too sexy.
The costume is so sexy.
Yeah, when someone bangs D.
Yeah. Who knocked up D.
That's a good one.
Yeah, so that was the big announcement this week, and then another one.
I feel like there's a lot going on.
Oh my god, and it all happened right after we filmed last week. The other big one that I'm really excited for is they announced a lot of Christmas movies are coming to 4K. And we're both big Christmas guys.
Yes, I agree with that. It's going to be hard to split these up because we kind of both want all of them. But on the other hand, some of them is do they need a 4K?
Well, one of them we were both on the fence because it's not my personal favorite, and this might be a sin to some people, is Elf.
I love Elf. I really do. But, I guess at the end of the day, sure, I want it on 4K. I'm kind of sick of upgrading stuff, because I buy so many movies, and then a couple years later, I have to rebuy them on the new format, so it bothers me sometimes, but I guess we're really embracing the 4K stuff, and it's starting to get more and more popular, and I'm definitely grateful all these movies are coming to 4K, because that is the superior way to watch something, in my opinion. But it's just, we don't have a ton of money, and just... It's kind of hard, to justify it sometimes.
That, especially since we have to, because we review them for the channel, we have to buy them at full price when we buy them.
Right.
So we have to justify, okay, is this worth the review?
Our hope is to one day eventually get some review copies, hopefully.
But the one thing, the movie we're talking about is Elf. And
Elf, right, yeah.
Which I actually really like the cover when he's making the snow angel.
Yeah, no, that's a fantastic movie. I watch that every single year for Christmas. I still laugh my ass off. That is a 10 out of 10 Christmas movie, in my opinion. I love Elf, so I will be getting that in 4K.
You are an angry elf. And I'll definitely be grabbing the other big one that comes out that same day, which is November 1st, and that's Christmas Vacation.
I also want that.
I watch Christmas Vacation because it's no problem for me to watch it on the 1st. and watch it again because I watch it usually 2 to 3 times a season anyway.
Really?
I love Christmas Vacation.
It's a great movie, yeah, but I don't know about 2-3 times.
Me and my wife, we quote that movie.
Shitter's full.
Yeah, we just do that or something. I'll get you something real nice. Meanwhile, he's spending his money. It's such a good movie. I love Christmas Vacation.
It is
entirely quotable. So. And the Blu-ray for it is actually not that bad, so I'm curious to see how the 4K
Well,
is.
I think the 4K will serve that better than Elf, as just because it's an older movie shot on film, where I think that's going to be more of an upgrade than Elf. But prove me wrong, I don't know.
Yeah, and then they also announced a bunch of the old Christmas movies are coming to 4K, which is strange.
Holiday Inn, I think, was one of them. I know I just bought that movie on Blu-ray for my mother last year.
Really?
Yeah.
Of all movies?
Well, she was still VHS and DVD. Like, me and my sisters bought her a Blu-ray player, and she didn't have any Blu-ray, so it was Christmas time. She's like, "Oh, what? Get me this. I've been looking for Holiday Inn," and so I found it on Blu-ray, and I grabbed her that Christmas, just like all the basic like Christmas Story.
Christmas Story is another one that's
Miracle on
coming to 4K.
34th. Like, those are all her favorite Christmas movies, so I picked her up all those on Blu-ray.
Yeah, that's not bad. I'm going to probably have to grab A Christmas Story on 4K. That's one of Fate's favorites.
That's another one that I think the 4K is... I think that and Christmas Vacation are going to be the
I
two
think A Christmas
standouts.
Story will be a very nice 4K.
Yeah.
Because, literally one thing about the Christmas season is it's the snow. You get all the Christmas lights.
Then you get the lights and things that pop. And I love Christmas Story. I had the Red Ryder BB gun.
I have it.
Oh, you have one too?
I have one in my... we put it up every Christmas. I have the
you
red...
have one?
Yeah.
Is it still functional?
Yeah, no, actually, Carmela bought that, Salem Seller. She bought that for us for Christmas one year, and we put it up every Christmas season. Hey.
Oh, I had one I shot.
Did you shoot your eye out?
No, quick story.
You shot someone else's eye out.
The neighbor.
Yeah.
Not his eye. But I remember I had a raised deck, and here in Long Island, our houses they're not, it's not like Queens close, but they're,
We're on the east end of the island, so if you've ever seen videos of people living in Queens and there's no backyards, we got backyards.
No, we got grass and all that. We have nature. I hate the city. But, so I would say maybe, a couple 100 feet would be the neighbor's house. And they were outside working on, they were doing something. He was bent down, and my dad was in the shower. Me and my buddy were playing with my BB gun. We were on the raised deck shooting at squirrels and birds or whatever. I don't know. We were kids. But I remember, I don't know if it was me or my buddy, but he aimed it at the neighbor. This is a grown-ass man. He had to be 40, 50 years old. And he shot him. And it hit him, and he's looking around like, what the fuck happened? And then me and my buddies ran in the house, and then he's knocking on the door. My dad comes out of the shower. There's a BB stuck in the guy's nose right next to his eye.
Oh my god, you got that close
right
there?
in the nose we shot him.
Was he upset?
Yeah, I think so. My dad said sorry and all that stuff, and I got the gun taken away from me for a few weeks.
This is why he couldn't get a gun. This is literally why. His reasons for people like you ruined it for that kid.
Yeah, but I was a crack shot with that thing. I had fantastic aim. I remember I used to shoot like the Terminator. I would stand sideways and I would shoot all the beer cans and all the targets and shit we would put up.
I can't even see the target.
Oh, I was really, really good. I have very good aim with that BB gun. But anyway, let's get back to physical.
Yeah, and actually, speaking of us living on Long Island, Frank Rodriguez, who was one of our big subscribers, actually tipped us off to something right before we started filming.
Yeah.
And that's Vinegar Syndrome is releasing the Amityville Horror, which actually happened right here on Long Island.
It's about a 45-minute drive from where we live.
Yeah. And it's a very famous story. Guy said he got possessed by the devil, and it made him kill his whole entire family one night, and they made a movie about it, the Amityville Horror. They made a movie, they made a remake. So
there's a few of those, right?
There's the original movies have, I believe, like 3 or 4.
There is a lot.
Yeah, and then they have the remake from 2005 with Ryan Reynolds, which
I saw in theaters with you, I think.
Yep, which we just remembered. We saw it at Movie Land, I think. I can't remember.
Island 16.
Maybe. It's been 17 years.
Yeah.
So, anyway, and now Vinegar Syndrome is releasing a 4K of it. And we were actually having discussions. We both Frank told us about it. We both just
we jumped on. And this is actually, I think, our first Vinegar Syndrome.
Yeah, we both don't have it. And we were going through, it's just not a lot of movies that really caught my eye.
Yeah, they're a very, very niche boutique label, and this is probably the biggest title I recognize from them. I'm sure there's been others that I just missed or haven't seen. But as of late, I think the Amityville Horror is probably the one thing that stood out to me. And I think this is the first Vinegar Syndrome that...
Yeah, we both ordered it. I mean, it did cause a little bit of confusion. There's no release date on it. And then the other articles we were just checking, because we just ran through this quick because literally we were about to film it. We saw Frank's comment.
Yeah.
So we couldn't find a release date. And we also saw a thing that said regular edition, there's 6,000 copies, and then there's a limited edition slipcover for 1,000.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're trying to figure out, okay, is there two different slipcovers? One's just limited and then they both have a slipcover, or does only one have a slipcover?
Right.
We think we figured it out. We think that there is two slipcovers. There's the limited one that has a cross on it, and then there's just the regular one that comes with it.
Right, yeah, but we cannot confirm. If anybody can shed some light on that and clear that up, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, we do film before we actually release these, so it's like, we kind of catch it on, like, this is real quick. We just saw this.
Yeah.
But we're really excited. We both pre-ordered it. Can't wait. We'll have a review on the channel. That's something that's a great horror movie. Matt's going to be scared because he's never seen it.
I don't think I've seen the original. Like I said, I saw the remake.
The original's much scarier than the remake.
Really?
I
would think it's the other way around.
No, the remake's not bad, though. But, again, Ron Reynolds, anytime he does something serious, it's really
That's when the
hard
family moves in the house and he starts going crazy, right?
Yeah. That's the original's the same thing.
Okay.
The original, though, has a much better opening than the
So it's kind of like The Shining?
In a sense. Well, the problem is that the real killer just died. Is like he basically used this as his defense, and then like people moved in after him, and they said the house was haunted. Mainly because, people have lived there. The house is still up. People have lived there since, and none of them have confirmed that there's anything wrong with the house. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not living there.
Yeah.
I mean, then again, I have always been curious. I say to my wife all the time, I wish we had a haunted house.
You're an idiot.
Why?
What the fuck you want a haunted house for?
Why not? That's fun.
Spill that. I will fucking murder you.
You got bites and stuff on your couch.
Okay, but I don't need sticky ass beer stains. Jesus, guy's a slob. Anyway, what other pre-orders are we talking about?
As far as new announcements this week, I think those were the only new ones, except one that we got a big one for yesterday. And this one is, I think it's really hit or miss for us, and that is the Saw is getting a 4K set. Brand new.
So, you know what, let me bring up the picture just so I can read word for word.
Because this is definitely causing a little bit of an uproar, at least for us, because we do have the last set that they came out with, and you have.
Right.
You have Jigsaw and
yes.
What's it called? On 4K.
So I came across this on Instagram. I'm reading off Bluray Dan's site or page. So he posted the picture, and now it looks like the only 4Ks in this set is going to be the original Saw, Jigsaw, which is the... Is that a prequel? I don't remember.
That's a sequel.
It's a sequel?
Yeah,
I don't remember.
it's a bad movie.
No, I enjoyed Jigsaw.
Really? I don't remember liking it.
I remember liking it.
I didn't see it. No, I don't remember
And then
liking
Spiral, which was the Chris Rock.
Now, you have those all on 4K.
I don't have the original Saw on 4K.
But that's already released on 4K.
It is. Yes.
So, basically, what they're doing is they're just taking the 4Ks that have already been released, putting them in a package with the Blu-rays that have already been released,
now,
and re-releasing it as one big package.
And then also on Blu-ray will be Saw, Saw 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3D, The Final Chapter, Jigsaw, Spiral, and bonus features are all on Blu-ray.
But that's all the same stuff. Are these new scans?
That was my next thing. Are they new scans?
Yeah.
We don't know. But it does come with a cool...
the helmet from the first one,
Well,
right?
it's not a helmet. It's that thing that they lock into the jaw and then it...
Reverse bear trap.
The reverse bear trap, yeah. And then it opens and rips your fucking jaw apart. It's a cool collector's item. If we find out that there's new... I gotta see how much it is, because I have an older Blu-ray set, and...
Now, that older Blu-ray set, though, to be fair, is pretty cheap. It comes in a Blu-ray box, you just kind of flip through it.
Yeah, and I want to say it was under $20.
Yeah, no, we got... That was the thing. Back then, they used to release these Blu-ray sets, especially with horror. They did it with the Nightmare on Elm Street, where they would just dump all the discs in a box, but like maybe 2 on a fucking Blu-ray.
Yeah.
They didn't care about the collector. It was more like, hey, if you guys like the movies, here's the movies. Now it seems like they're actually putting more effort into the box art.
Right.
But if they're the same scans, I can't justify personally picking that up.
Right, no, and I agree with that. You know, the reverse bear trap, the little collector's item. It is cool, but again, we got to see how much it is because I don't think we have a price on that yet.
Nah, and given though I don't have Jigsaw or Spiral on 4K, and I don't have the original on 4K, I just have that original set, and I do have Saw on Blu-ray on its own, which is weird.
Yeah, I have like a random one, like 4 by itself. But then I have that set. We probably have the same set.
Yeah, we do have the same set, which is, like I said, just cheap. That's all.
Yeah.
But it works. It does its job.
Yeah, of course.
You know, Saw is very special to us. We saw the original in theaters. That was a big day. We went to Dark Side Haunted House here on Long Island, and then we went and saw either before or after.
It was one of the
And I also, what's weird is I always also think of A House of a Thousand Corpses. I think that came out that same year too. Oh,
maybe, but I did not see that.
Well, actually, I think House of a Thousand Corpses was a year before.
But I also didn't see House of a Thousand Corpses until much later.
I saw House of a Thousand Corpses with Dennis at a family party, which is weird. With the other movie that, did you know that the guy D. Schneider from Twisted Sister was in a movie or directed a movie?
What movie?
I can't remember the name, but I remember I watched a double feature with that movie.
D. Schneider, also a Long Island resident.
Yeah,
A local.
Yeah, Twisted Sister, guys. If you ever heard the song,
I wanna rock.
Well, that and then We're Not Gonna Take It.
Yeah.
We're not gonna take it.
Yeah, right. That's enough.
Okay, well, I'm a good singer.
Eh.
Alright, and then so moving on. I think that was all the stuff that's gotten announced since the last time we filmed. I did see that still Pulp Fiction is not confirmed, but I did see on the Disc Fathers Instagram that it got delayed till December 6th when it was originally announced for November 15th.
Right, yeah.
So again, still no confirmations.
Also, the Disc Father is not the most reliable. You know,
yeah, he does speculate a lot, but a lot of times he does hit. And
he does.
Because he also released the artwork for the slipcover for Reservoir Dogs, which if you pull it up, it pulls the ear off of the guy's face, which I hope that's exactly the artwork we're going to get, but I can't confirm that. It does look legitimate, but I'm hoping. So, yeah, so again, still nothing on Pulp Fiction. I think this is the third week we've talked about it.
And those I won't... Now, there's two things to talk about with that. A, Inglourious Bastards is one that was a catalog title from Quentin Tarantino that did come to 4K, and it's not a great 4K from my understanding.
No, and like I also said, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I just rewatched that 4K 2 weeks ago, and it's pretty dark. Like, it's really not the greatest of 4Ks, so he's like 0 for 2, and it's not him. It's the studios, obviously.
Right, because he's not even really...
I don't think he's involved in this.
Right.
Quentin Tarantino, if you know anything about him, he's a big on-film guy. He wants all his movies to be seen on film, in theaters. He owns the New Beverly in Los Angeles, which still projects with 35mm film. He also made sure that The Hateful Eight was released on 70mm film. I actually was able to see it on 70mm film, which is incredible.
What's the difference?
70mm film. It's just it's a millimeters. It's like it's a bigger film. The bigger when you went those big landscape scopes, like you've seen The Hateful Eight, right? How it's got the snowy mountains in the background. The bigger the film, 70mm is going to give you a bigger scope and make that distance clearer. To make sure that the foreground is just as clear as in the background.
So it's like the 4K of film.
It's the best film you could film on. Like, think about it. Like, how Super 8, the movie's called Super 8, let's talk about filming on Super 8 film. Okay. And then you got 16mm, then you got, 35mm, and then you got 70mm.
35 is the most common.
Most common, that's what they film most films on. 70mm, because you need different projectors for these.
Gotcha. Okay.
So you have to, so Quentin Tarantino cares more about saving film itself. I don't think he cares too much about the quality of the actual re-releases of his films.
Right.
And that's speculation. I have no truth to that, but from what I've seen and heard in interviews with him, he's more of like a movie theater kind of guy.
Well, you would think he would want to preserve his movies and I guess making copies of Blu-rays.
Well, this guy made a movie bad looking on purpose. Don't forget.
Which one was that?
That was with Grindhouse and his version of, what's it called? Why am I drawing a blank on it?
Death Proof?
Death Proof. He purposely made the film look bad.
That's a great movie.
It is a great movie.
Stuntman Mike?
Yeah. The fact that you like that movie, which is by far his worst movie, and you haven't seen Kill Bill yet, really bothers me.
I love Death Proof.
I know. But they put the cigarette burns, they cut it together cheap on purpose, which I thought was actually an awesome, an homage to Grindhouse films. So, he cares about old cinema looking old, so he probably doesn't want his films to look the greatest.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know.
That makes sense.
It's speculation. I don't really know for sure.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I like to pop in a VHS or a DVD on my old TV and watch the movie that way, because sometimes you're just in the mood for the... Disgusting. You're just in the mood to watch it like that. And, it is September 4th, and this guy gets Oktoberfest beer.
You know what? In my defense...
You jumped the gun.
I did. Well, you said this last week. When it comes to certain things, like when fall rolls around, yeah, I don't wait till the biggest hint of fall. I love fall. I hate summer.
I love fall, too. It's my favorite holiday. September 1st, it's like, alright, we're gearing up for it, but it's not exactly...
Yeah, I get that, but I really hate summer. You guys see my skin, right? The sun will literally attempt to murder me every time I walk outside. I have almost died just from what normal people do. Just from being outside in the sun. So me and the sun, it's a real hate relationship. Mostly on their end, trying to kill me.
Yeah, I have a little bit of a farmer's tan going on. But,
yeah, good for you. It must be nice. I don't get to experience tans. I go from either, printer paper white to Patrick pink to fire engine red. Those are my 3 tones.
Yeah, he got 3rd-degree burns when I took him to the beach.
Yeah, that was bad.
We had fun. It was a good day.
It was a good day. It was a horrible night. I was in the Burnwick Victim Ward. People were in fires. And what happened to you? I was outside today.
I was at the beach.
I was at the beach.
Oh my god. So, what, are we done with all new announcements?
I think that was everything that was announced this week, as far as I'm pretty sure.
Did we talk Running Man?
No, which got announced for a 4K Steelbook. Now, that actually brings a good question, because that's all they announced. They didn't announce a slipcover.
No, that's probably a Lionsgate.
It looked that way, but Lionsgate usually takes the old 4Ks releases,
right,
but there is no new previous release of 4K.
Yeah, and if you notice, Best Buy has been re-releasing all of their Steelbooks.
They also are releasing old Blu-rays on Steelbooks. The Ring, for example, which is only $17.
That's a cool one.
I already pre-ordered that.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's one of my favorite horror movies ever. I waited for a long time to get that Blu-ray.
Yeah, I have the regular Blu-ray. I wish I didn't, because I want that, but I'm not going to double dip on another Blu-ray just for the Steelbook.
Especially since it's not even a new scan.
Yeah, so whatever about that. I noticed Best Buy has been re-releasing a lot of their Steelbook stuff, and they put that little yellow tag on it to say re-release or something like that. But, I guess that's cool if you missed out on the first time, but it doesn't really make it a limited edition anymore.
Nah, you kind of took away the limited part. And the only thing I can think of is, they didn't sell through them all, but that doesn't even make sense either, because some of them are pretty old, 2 years old, 3 years old.
No, they're definitely sold out, and I guess there's just a resurgence of physical media as of lately. It's getting more and more popular.
There's a lot coming out this fall.
Yeah. And they're catering to the collector a lot more. In most cases.
Yes.
However, there's a negative with some of this stuff, like, who's really screwing us right now? Warner Brothers, maybe?
Oh, who the hell was the one... And, Jeff Films at Home made a video about this, but, Warner Brothers is the one who did Malignant. Yeah. And this is happening a lot more frequently.
Right, so this is what... Okay, go ahead, and then I'll come back.
Yeah, where they are releasing movies, most recent example of this is the movie X from A24.
Right.
So they released that on Blu-ray earlier this year. It came out in theaters. They had a good run in theaters. They got a Blu-ray release. I thought, okay, it's never getting a 4K release, mainly because of the sense that it didn't make a ton of money.
Right.
It was a small film. I was like, okay, it'll never get a 4K release. Little did we know, it's getting a 4K release.
Yep.
Months after the Blu-ray release. Now, Malignant did the same exact thing.
Yep. Did you get the Blu-ray of that?
No, but I did get the 4K.
You got it. Okay.
And the 4K is beautiful. Don't get me wrong. I don't have the Blu-ray, but I saw the HBO stream when it came out, because that was during HBO's whole, we're going to release all our movies simultaneously in theaters and on Blu-ray. And on our streaming service. So I saw it. I didn't need the Blu-ray. I loved Malignant. It's a great movie. If you can get it on Blu-ray or 4K.
Right.
But I waited and got the 4K. We have a review on the channel. But that's just something really dirty to do to your consumers.
Right, and that's why I haven't bought Black Phone. You saw that in theaters. I wanted to see that. It's only got a Blu-ray release, and You know, you would think most new movies these days generally get a Blu-ray and a 4K release. But Black Phone, there's no 4K release yet. Will we get one? I don't know. So the studios are kind of putting out these Blu-rays, seeing how they sell to test the waters, and then they'll put out the 4K.
And that actually leads into a conversation me and you were having about the other day. Matt called me, and he's buying and rewatching all of Wes Craven and John Carpenter movies right now. So Matt, we're talking about John Carpenter has, and When the Fog comes out in not too long, a couple weeks, will have, I believe, 11 of his movies on 4K. And that's not all of them. So, but Scream Factory does have another one of their movies, which is one of my personal favorite John Carpenter movies, which is In the Mouth of Madness, starring Sam Neill. Now, Matt's like, do I buy it? Because it's what, $29?
Well, so the thing with the Wes Cravens and the John Carpenters, it looks like Scream Factory has their collector's edition Blu-ray of pretty much every single John Carpenter and Wes Craven movies. So I've been going down the list and I've been picking out the ones that I want to watch, and I've been trying to watch some of them in order. It looks like Scream Factory's going down their list and now bringing stuff to 4K, which is great if you missed out on the Blu-ray back in the day. But now I'm like, do I wait and hope for a 4K? But then what if I wait too long, we don't get the 4K, and then the Blu-ray goes out of print and sells out, and now it's a $70 out-of-print Blu-ray. It's a double-edged sword, as, you know, it's...
It really... And my speculation on this entire thing is that, as far as John Carpenter movies, once we got Prince of Darkness on 4K from Scream Factory, I was like, I think everything that they have a Blu-ray for will eventually get a 4K. So if I was to recommend something, I'd say, wait. I think we will get a 4K for In the Mouth of Madness.
Right.
But I really do want to rewatch that soon. I love that movie.
Like, I just watched They Live on 4K.
Which you actually didn't love, you said.
Yeah, you know what? It started very, very slow.
It does, and I agree with that.
And then it picks up, and I'm like, alright, and then it just kind of ends.
You didn't enjoy the 13-minute fight scene with him and Keith David?
The fight scene was a little over the top. You know, him and Hot Rod, they,
I mean, you literally got Roddy Piper, who's a professional wrestler, at the height of his powers. It's like, I'm sure he was like, hey, listen, John, like...
Which I didn't know going into that movie.
What, that Roddy Piper was in it?
No, I've seen the guy, but I didn't realize that was Hot Rod.
Yeah, that's Roddy Piper. That's the Maniac.
Yeah, I know. I had no idea. I was like, holy shit, Roddy Piper. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and he did a good job, right?
It wasn't a terrible movie. It just...
I really like They Live. I get that why you don't.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really understand the ending to it. Like,
I feel like that's John Carpenter's best shot at a Western. Because if you heard the score, like in the beginning, like how it's like, din, din, it's like kind of brings in that like,
right, yeah. It's
like,
just very, very slow, and he's just very curious for no reason, and then he's investigating the church, and then he just starts randomly killing these aliens. I don't know. It was okay, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally just John Carpenter talking about, like, you know, how the government controls us, and they're saying, like, well, it makes sense that they control us because they're aliens. And then when you put the glass on, you can see the truth, so you know that marketing means obey, listen to us, buy us, so we got you stuff.
Yeah, that part I understood, and I almost never get
the deeper meaning. The deeper meaning John Carpenter blasted you over the head with that meaning. But I still liked it. I thought the alien design was cool.
Yeah, no, it was alright.
And it's a good 4K.
It was a good 4K, for sure.
Yeah, so that's one thing. Because eventually, when I get the Fog, I'm going to rank every single one of John Carpenter's 4Ks.
It was worth a watch, for sure.
Yeah, I watch that one every year. I'm a big fan. It wouldn't make my top 5, I don't think, though.
Carpenter? I don't think so, no.
I still think that if I don't want to spoil it.
I also haven't seen Prince of Darkness.
Prince of Darkness is really good.
Is it better than that?
I think you'll probably like Prince of Darkness more. I think Prince of Darkness starts really well, and then I feel like it spends a lot of time in one location.
What is your favorite Carpenter?
Oh, The Thing, 100%.
Oh, that's right. I did know that.
I am a huge The Thing guy.
The Thing, huh?
Yeah, I love The Thing. I think The Thing is a masterpiece.
It's a good movie.
Well, you pick Halloween, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, I would definitely take The Thing, but like another movie that's probably a lot of people's most favorite John Carpenter movie, and me and you were both not fans of it, Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah.
And we might get a lot of shit for this because people love Big Trouble.
It's okay.
It's okay.
I I remember the guys upstairs when I was younger. We rented an apartment out. Well, we owned the house and we rented out to people upstairs. And they were younger guys, probably in their 20s, and I was in middle school. So, but I would hang out. I thought they were the coolest. And I remember he had a pretty cool DVD collection. And I remember he had Big Trouble in Little China. And I remember watching parts of it with them upstairs. And it was an okay movie, you know. And I remember liking it more as a kid. And then I went back and watched it. And it was a little underwhelming, I guess.
Yeah, I just rewatched this a few months ago. And I was the same way. I was like, I don't get why people love it. I get it. Kurt Russell's great.
Yeah.
And it's always cool to see Deep Throat in the beginning from the X-Files.
Right.
Basically doing the same role.
Yeah.
So that was cool. It's just, I get it. I get Kurt Russell's supposed to be playing this, bumbling idiot who lucks into every situation he's in.
Speaking of same roles, what did I just watch? It might have been They Live. Is the guy from Halloween 3 in that?
Tom Atkins.
Not Tom Atkins.
Because I was going to say, he's not in that.
No, he was like the business guy, the suit.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I don't remember if that.
I think it was They Live, because I've been watching a lot of movies lately.
That would make sense though. Because yes, John Carpenter didn't direct Halloween 3, but he did produce it with Deborah Hill, and it's their production company, so that's the same company.
The older guy there, and he was like the bad guy in Season of the Witch.
The old Irish guy?
Maybe. I don't know.
The guy who's from RoboCop, who was like, Dick, I am very disappointed. After he freaking blows him, after the guy's dead on his table after taking 86 bullets.
It could have been, yeah.
But you know what? We also got a bunch of questions this week. So I'm going to actually, because we could go off on these forever. So we're going to go down the line.
Yeah, how many do we have?
I think we only got 3. We're going to start off with Dennis, because Dennis has been asking us a lot. And I think that you might not actually understand this question, so I'm going to have to explain it to you. So the question is, and this is from Dennis Cinema 4K. He asked us, if you feel like including this in next week's episode, Dennis, we will. How do you feel about the Zemeckis human lifestyle of animation in movies like Jim Carrey's A Christmas Carol, and are you a fan of The Polar Express? Do you understand what that means? Have you seen The Polar Express?
That one with Tom Hanks?
Yes.
No, I have not. I remember reading the book.
Okay.
And Jim Carrey's A Christmas Carol? That was animated?
Yes. So Robert Zemeckis, because I feel like you don't recognize the name. But
Back to the Future.
Yes, he directed Back to the Future. He also directed Forrest Gump. Robert Zemeckis is very big into... He also did Welcome to Marwen a few years ago. He really likes to do special effects in his movies. He's very ahead of the time on special effects. It was huge with Forrest Gump, how he kind of got him into being in real-life situations.
Okay.
And so, in the early 2000s, with The Polar Express and A Christmas Carol, he did this animation style where it's almost very lifelike, but it almost looks dead. It's hard to explain. It's actually very creepy.
Yeah, I haven't seen either of those.
Yeah, I've seen them both, and I actually do enjoy The Polar Express. That's another one that's getting a 4K this holiday.
Yes, it is.
So maybe you should grab that. Because
you can have it.
I think I will.
I'm going to continue my never seen a Tom Hanks streak.
I hate you for it. But you have seen his animated movies, and
I guess.
But you do get an animated
Toy Story only.
Yeah, so he's animated in this. But to answer your question, Dennis, I'm not a huge fan of the animation style. I think you could have done definitely a different animation style that made those movies better. I do enjoy The Polar Express, and I do enjoy A Christmas Carol actually very much. I just think that the animation, although it is kind of ahead of its time.
Right, yeah. I remember reading the book only of Polar Express. I would imagine I would like most of Jim Carrey's work.
Yeah.
But
he plays Scrooge.
Yeah, but I feel like I'm getting that confused. What's that, Lemony Snicket's?
Oh, A Series of Unfortunate Events.
That was Jim Carrey also,
yes,
right?
And then it had a remake on Netflix starring Neil Patrick Harris. But,
okay.
Well, it's a series on Netflix.
Gotcha.
But anyway, yeah, no, Robert Zemeckis, he loves... I haven't seen a really good Robert... Oh, that's not true. Robert Zemeckis also directed Flight, starring Denzel Washington and John Goodman. And
Did you say you haven't seen a good Robert Zemeckis movie?
No, I was going to say I haven't seen one in a while.
Okay.
But...
I just watched all 3 Back to the Futures on 4K. And
no, Zemeckis is usually pretty good. It's just that Flight's like the outlier in like the last 12 years.
Gotcha.
It's a great movie, and the special effects, again, for the plane crash in the beginning are awesome. Flight's a great movie. See Flight. But yeah, so as far as I would have preferred a different animation style, honestly, if I'm being honest. But the movies themselves, pretty good. I enjoyed them. I saw the Polar Express and the Christmas Carol in school when they first came out. We went to the auditorium and saw them both.
Is that old?
I want to say Polar Express is like 03, 04.
The movie?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
02? I was young. I was in school, so I was young enough.
So maybe I did see it. I don't know. I just remember the book. But speaking of Back to the Future, I just watched all of them on 4K. I absolutely love those movies. But those 4Ks are phenomenal. If you don't have the Back to the Future 4Ks, they're on sale for like $40 mostly all the time. Buy that. It is a fantastic set. They are amazing 4Ks.
I gotta pull the trigger on that still.
Yeah.
Because I'm still connected to my old trilogy. I don't know why. Alright, and now going to our second question. This is by Tony O, who has actually given us a question previously and has recommended movies for us to review. We did
Correct.
Turbo Kid because of him. So his question is, this one you'll really love, when buying physical media, do you both only buy brand new / sealed, or do you buy used as well? For me, since I don't have movies anywhere or Vudu, the digital copies are a waste. I'd rather buy a used, cheaper copy without the digital copy. For boutique labels, I typically buy brand new though.
Correct.
So now, how do you feel about that?
So as far as digital copies go, I want to touch on that first. I have no connection to the digital copy also, except for the fact that we pull them out and we do the giveaway for you guys. I don't think a digital copy really makes it more... buying used, at least, I don't think the digital copy would raise the price because most of the time it's gone, or it'll say it could be redeemed, it might work, who knows. But I generally will try to buy new first. I prefer to pull the seal off myself. Like, a lot of the stuff on my shelf is still sealed, and that's kind of my bookmark to say, hey, I haven't watched this yet, so I enjoy pulling a movie off the shelf and opening it up, putting it in the player, as I know you open everything.
Immediately. That's something where my OCD will really kick in.
No, yeah, so if you look at my shelf, I would say 50% of it might still be sealed. But I will generally go sealed first, unless we go to like the thrift store, FYE, and I'll poke around and I'll look at stuff. But I have to look at the disc. It has to be immaculate. The artwork has to be in pretty much immaculate shape. If there's any sort of imperfections, rips, tears, if I can replace the case and it looks fine and the disc is okay, then sure. But generally, I'll aim for new, unless the used is like. But also, there's not too many places to go buy used. I know you can go on eBay.
FYE is the big used one.
FYE would be the big one around here, or thrift stores. But generally, most of the stuff I buy would be new, especially boutique labels, because you will probably never see that in a thrift or FYE around by us, at least, because we're not really a big physical media. I don't know.
Well, you know, it's actually funny you said that, because I was in FYE literally yesterday, and they had Cat People from Scream Factory on.
Well, right, yeah, because that's a new release. But, like, I know up in the New England area by Films at Home, Jeff, they have a store called Bull Moose. So, yeah, Bull Moose is kind of like it's like an FYE. It's FYE, Coconuts, that type of store. Big physical media store. They have movies, music, CDs, records, all that stuff. And they have a big website, so check out bullmoose.com because they have great deals on used stuff and new stuff. But generally, I aim for new first. If it's an out-of-print Blu-ray, every once in a while I'll pop on eBay for something like that. But generally, new would be the way to go.
Yeah, I mean, I've bought some used Blu-rays before, but I'm not a big used Blu-ray buyer. Same thing with you, I have to make sure that the box art isn't screwed up, because that's going to really bother me, and the disc has to be perfect. As far as digital goes, same thing, not a digital collector. Before we started doing the channel and doing the giveaway, I used to just give them away to my brother-in-law. Like, he loves to collect digitally. He has a huge digital collection. He's the kind of guy who will go into a thrift store and he'll search all the Blu-rays for the digital copies, because he just loves his digital collection.
Oh, just take the digital.
He'll just take the digital copies, because they don't care. They're usually selling the movie for like $3.
Yeah.
He'll grab the digital copy. He's probably got hundreds in his digital collection. But as far as for me, I just can't. It's just not the same experience personally to scroll through a browser and looking at the box art that way as it's around your shelf.
Pick it up, look at it, pull the disc out, smell it,
Yeah, that's part of the experience for me. Like last night we were trying to figure out a movie to watch. We ended up watching Straight Out of Compton on Blu-ray. But, we went in there and we were just, me and my wife, we were just looking at the rack. And
I had that on 4K.
I know. And you know what? I was watching it and I was like, this would probably be a really nice 4K. But it really wasn't a great Blu-ray.
Why do you have that on Blu-ray?
I bought the Blu-ray before I was collecting 4Ks. You know how old that movie is? It came out in 2000.
But the 4K and the Blu-ray had to come out
I didn't start collecting 4Ks until 2017. The Blu-ray came out in 2015.
Was there a 4K at that point?
No, 4K came out after.
Gotcha.
4Ks, I believe, really only started in 17. If you remember how they had that.
So I got that movie late then.
Yeah, remember how the space was on the racks? Good movie, by the way. And then we have one more question that we have to answer, and this one I think might be one of my favorites because I really do enjoy this.
The question is from JRP. Question: who is your favorite director, and do you go out of your way to find all their movies, regardless if it's a bad apple? And I know your answer to this. Yes.
Because you have a really bad policy on this.
The short answer, yes. I'm gonna...
Yeah. Matt doesn't even have to love the director or the series to go get all the movies.
Well, that's not entirely true. But at the moment, I am doing Wes Craven and John Carpenter. And I'm at a standstill at Wes Craven right now because there is 2 Wes Craven movies right now that are out of print Blu-rays, and they are not cheap. And the first one is The Toxic Avenger. Yeah, I was going to
say.
Not The Toxic Avenger. I got that confused. It's Swamp Thing. And it is a DC character, superhero, but Wes Craven adapted it to film, and I never saw this movie, so I don't really know too much about it, but it is an out-of-print Blu-ray. And the other one is Hills Have Eyes Part 2. They're like $70 each.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
They just announced today that I saw, I don't know if it was announced today, but I saw that they're coming out with a Hills Have Eyes, 4K.
Really?
Yeah, and a nice...
The Arrow Video one?
Yeah. Is that new?
Well, I have the Blu-ray of the Hills Have Eyes and the Children of the Corn, but you have the Children of the Corn 4K.
Yes.
From Arrow. So Arrow's kind of doing the same thing that Criterion and Shout is doing. They're going back to their back catalog, and they're putting these Blu-rays that they did onto 4K, which is fine.
I appreciate it more. And we're going to have a video this week talking about Blowout from Criterion, because they don't change the box art. But
that's this week? That movie?
Yeah. And Shout, and what they really do, and they did this just with Cat People, is they change the box art design. It makes me feel like, okay, at least I'm getting something different out of this. And not just, even though they do just pop the disc in there and give you everything you previously had, it's nice that they changed the design of the box, so at least when I'm going down my rack, it makes me feel like, okay, at least I got something different out of this. Whereas with the Criterion, they literally just make a different spot for the 4K, kind of to the left, and gave you the same packaging, and it bothers me. But to answer your question, JR, I personally will not do that. Matt is very different than me. I like to, yes, Quentin Tarantino is my favorite director, so it's very easy to have all his movies because he only has 9 movies. So I have all of his on 4K, but my second favorite director is Martin Scorsese. I don't have every Martin Scorsese movie on Blu-ray.
You don't? I feel like I do.
No, Martin Scorsese has a ton of movies. I guarantee you, I'm going to give you 3 movies right now that are great Martin Scorsese movies that you've never even heard of. The Last Temptation of Christ.
Nope.
After Hours.
Nope.
And the sequel to The Gambler, which is one of my personal favorite movies, The Color of Money.
No.
No, so I knew you didn't have.
I thought I had a lot.
Scorsese makes a lot of movies. A lot of movies you might not even know about. But he's got so many, and I don't have them all on Blu-ray. It's because I'm not really big fans, or I'm expecting a 4K. Like After Hours, I expect a 4K of that at some point.
Right.
So I don't go and grab every movie, even if they're, even if I love the director. I just won't do it.
Yeah, see, I think I'm more of a collector than John is.
Mm-hmm.
I really love the collecting aspect. And, I kind of treat them as, trading cards or Pokemon cards, where I collect them all, I can read the stats and shit on the back. It doubles as a movie. I could watch this if I want, but some stuff I might not ever even watch, I'm sure there's some movies on there that I bought with intention to watch, and then I come back to it a year later, I'm scrolling through the shelf, I'm like, I'm not in the mood for that, and never get in the mood to watch it, and it just sits there sealed forever. But I have it. You know, if that rainy day comes and I want to watch it, I have it.
See,
So.
the way I buy Blu-rays, it's different now, but the way I used to is I wouldn't buy the movie until I actually needed it, until I wanted to watch it. Now, This is actually, it's a flawed system because it happens to me frequently where I want to go watch a movie, I don't own it, and then it's not streaming, and then I either have to rent it or wait 2 days for the Blu-ray to show up.
Or even worse, with the Kevin Smith stuff that we just ran into, they're out of print. That's another thing, especially with these boutique labels. I'm afraid this stuff is going to go out of print, you know, so I try to jump on this stuff. As soon as it goes on sale, the first sale, I'll grab stuff, or some stuff I like a lot, I'll buy day one release just because I'm afraid that this stuff's going to go out of print. It's gonna go away, and I don't want to miss out.
No, I totally get the not wanting to miss out on anything, because I get that same thing too, because there's a lot of times where it's like, do I pull the trigger? I mean, and I also get the pressure from you, where it's like, you just buy it, like, you know, because you'll regret it. And I do regret it, because it does happen a lot. Matt's talking about the Kevin Smith movies. Who the hell saw Dogma and Red State and Yoga Hosers being something that you can't buy? I didn't expect that. Because when you were buying them, you didn't make a big deal except for Dogma.
Dogma was the only one that was out of print at the time, and this was only about a year ago that I bought the Kevin Smith stuff. I paid maybe $45 for Dogma on Blu-ray for a used copy of Dogma, and now it's over $100. Tusk, because you can still get Red State. That's another one, over $100. Yoga Hosers, that's expensive. That's out of print.
Out of print, and Red State Yoga Hosers make sense because they're distributed independently. So it's, you know, it's kind of like almost like a print to order kind of deal, like with In Search of Darkness stuff, where it's a small studio. They're not going to have a lot. A24 did Tusk. That's why you can grab Tusk. It's pretty easy. Dogma makes no sense to me. I really don't understand what the hell happened with Dogma. I assume that a major studio did Dogma, so there's no reason why you can't get Dogma on Blu-ray. I really don't get it. And it bothers the hell out of me. And another thing that bothers me, Second Sight. Second Sight is a great studio that releases a lot of stuff. But we here in America, we can't buy that stuff directly from them.
Not all of it.
And
some stuff you can.
Okay, really?
Yes, because I was playing on the site when you sent me. We're talking Dawn of the Dead, right?
Yes.
So that one specifically won't ship to the U.S. for some reason.
And I really want that, because if people remember, the Blu-ray before this 4K release, impossible to get. That was one of the most expensive ones.
I sent you the link.
You did.
It's $50-something on eBay. Somebody already imported it. And it looks like it's a big set. There's like 4 or 5 discs in there. Now, the 4K is region free, and the Blu-rays on there are going to be region B. You can still watch the movie on the 4K is what you want it for.
Yeah, but like, you're going to lose all the extras, and it's hard for me to justify that. And I'm having a hard time understanding why that is. I assume it's a rights thing, because we just had this issue with Wolf of Wall Street where it's only coming out and not coming out in America. Mm-hmm. And I assume it's just something with the rights, but if you're going to hold the rights to this, release it. Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I don't know the business end and how all this stuff works, but I feel like we strayed pretty far from the path of favorite director and collecting.
Yes, so my favorite director, I already said, is Quentin Tarantino.
I don't know if I have an answer for that.
Really? No, for me, I could definitely give you my top 3. Off the top of my head, it goes Tarantino, Scorsese, and Spike Lee. Those are my top 3 directors of all time.
Tarantino, I like Scorsese a lot. I love John Carpenter stuff.
I was going to say, you're a big Carpenter guy.
I love Carpenter stuff. I love Spielberg stuff. You know, it catch-22 saying James Cameron, because we like a lot of James Cameron stuff.
That's why I didn't say James Cameron, because James Cameron did, like, yes, he started out, but you like, I don't know if you've seen Piranha 2, but I know you like the first Piranha. But, like, he started out T1. You had T1 Aliens.
His best movie was his first.
And then he had Abyss.
Yeah.
Which you haven't seen. Then you had T2, True Lies, which you never saw.
Right.
And then he had Titanic.
Still a good movie.
Yep. And then he did Avatar. That's it. That's 7 movies for his whole career.
So Avatar was the only miss, in my opinion.
Yeah, for me too. I mean, I haven't seen Piranha 2. if I'm being honest. I have seen everything else. True Lies is great. The Abyss is great. The Terminators are the best ever.
Best movies ever.
Yeah, Aliens, you're a bigger fan than me. I do like Aliens a lot. But, yeah, he doesn't miss until he got to Avatar. But we're the minority, and we need to accept that.
Yeah.
You know, people love Avatar.
I don't know. But
And we're getting Avatar 2 soon.
yeah.
So you wouldn't consider Cameron as one of your favorites?
I mean, I guess he is, because Terminator is my favorite movie ever. T1, T2 is my second favorite. So
And you really love Aliens.
I love Aliens, yeah. So I mean, maybe it is Cameron, and that's a director where I can't collect all of their movies because they're not all available on physical media. Well, okay, if you go to DVD, sure.
Yeah,
But-
you can get the DVDs. But now it's like, I feel like if you go back for the DVDs, because we've had these rumors for years with The Abyss and True Lies coming to 4K, and it's like, you know what's going to happen is you're going to pull the trigger, get those DVDs,
Yeah.
and then...
Well, I actually just got True Lies on VHS.
Did you really?
Yeah, it's right there.
And are you going to watch that on VHS?
I might, yeah. I might, yeah.
True Lies is a great movie. I watched that last year, and you know, people who might, you know, this is obviously mainly a movie channel, but if you follow John Campea, he always says that's his favorite action movie of all time is True Lies. And I get it, it's very much a 90s action blockbuster, and if that's your thing, and that's so much your thing,
Yeah.
you're gonna freaking love that movie because it's Arnold, Jamie Lee Curtis, spies, just over the top action. It is so awesome.
We're going a little long on this, but before we end, I know we watch a lot of movies for review, and we kind of have to schedule stuff in here, but every once in a while we get a free night. And so what have you been watching in your free time?
So last night, like I said, I watched Straight Outta Compton. And the other night, I'm watching a show right now, and I love it. And I recommended this to you. But if you guys are a fan of it, it's based on a movie directed by Taika Waititi called What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh, okay.
Which is basically
On
about...
Hulu.
Yeah. Oh my god, well, FX on Hulu. But anyway, it's a comedy. It's basically a mockumentary, which I was just talking about a mockumentary yesterday, in the sense that, you know, it follows around all these vampires. They can't die, and they live in a house together. And it's just about their day-to-day life, and it is hysterical.
Really?
You wouldn't think it's so funny, because we talked about vampires last week on this channel, but man, I really love this show. I laugh hysterically at it, and the movie itself is great too. So I know you haven't seen it, but I'd recommend checking it out.
Okay. Yeah, that's been on the list. Like I said, I just watched They Live. I thought that was okay. What did I watch last night? Oh, I watched Maniac Cop last night with Bruce Campbell, and that was good. I like that. That was a fun.
Did you end up getting to 2 or no?
I don't have it.
Oh, you don't have it?
I don't have to. No.
Oh,
Nope.
okay.
Not yet.
Not yet. I thought you had the 4K.
No, I do not. It's expensive.
That
It's
isn't
like 30.
the studio that did that. That's the same studio that did Zombie
Blue
and
Underground.
yeah, and Maniac, right? Yeah, their Blu-rays and their 4Ks never drop. I want the Maniac 4K so bad.
Yeah, that's Blue Underground.
Yeah, they don't drop in price, and honestly, from what I've heard, because I've never seen them, extremely high quality 4Ks.
Right.
So
And another boutique label.
there's a lot of great boutique labels. We
There
were
is.
doing some research this week. We found we were doing Second Sight, and we just bought from
Vinegar Syndrome.
and then there was a third one you sent me, and we
88 Films.
yeah. There's a lot out there. You just have to do your research.
Yeah. and
Obviously, check your regions.
a lot of their niche stuff, too. A lot of independent movies. Oh, another thing I just watched, which I enjoyed the hell out of, was Chopping Mall.
Oh yeah, and Matt never saw Chopping Mall.
I never saw Chopping
I still can't
Mall.
believe this. And because this is a Matt, if you're ever trying to figure out Matt as a human being, I watched Chopping Mall for the first time not too long ago myself, and I said, holy shit, Matt's going to love this movie.
Yeah.
And I assumed he saw it, and he didn't.
I didn't. So I first heard of that movie in the sci-fi, the 80s sci-fi doc, In Search of Darkness. And I was like, oh, this looks
The
awesome.
horror dark, right?
In Search of Darkness.
Yeah, you said sci-fi.
Oh, the horror documentary, yes. And I remember I was looking at it, and I forget who said something about it, but they said it's not as good as it looks or something like that. So I kind of put it on the back burner. But I was watching Mid-Level Media's his Instagram, and he posted a thing that he just watched it, and he really enjoyed it. So it's like, screw it. I was ordering shit from eBay and I needed a third movie for a coupon or something like that. So I threw that in there. And I ended up watching it, and I absolutely loved it. Like,
That's the only reason you bought that? Was because for a coupon?
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Because I've had my eye on it for a while, and it's a Vestron title, so, like, you know, I feel like, because that's another kind of somewhat boutique label, and I was like, you know what, let me try it out. It looks pretty good. Mid-Level Media also recommended Frailty to me also, which I picked up, and I ended up watching that and really enjoyed it. So he's 2 for 2 so far on stuff he recommended.
Frailty, I could have told you was great. Bill Paxton directed that. That's another one.
That was another recent watch.
It's like $6 on Amazon or something.
Yeah, that's what I paid for it.
Yeah.
Chopping Wall was like $26.
I would expect that. It's got a big cult following.
It's a Vestron title with a slipcover. So I enjoyed the hell out of it. That I love the 80s mall scene. You know, it screams 80s.
It's got that tone. You could tell also,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, but Stranger Things definitely took from that a little bit.
Yeah.
Especially like in the last episode of the third season.
I was even kind of getting like a Sarah Connor vibe from...
Yeah, so there were shots they took right from the Terminator, and from even RoboCop right from there. It felt like one of those Orion Picture sci-fi movies from the mid-'80s.
Yeah.
It had that tone to it, and I mean, that tone works for us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely. And I just watched the Back to the Futures on 4K, which were great 4Ks.
Yeah, and I'm watching House of the Dragon right now. For anyone who's a fan of Game of Thrones, I'm enjoying that. I watched the first 2 episodes. I thought they were great. We'll see where they go. I'm not going to get my hopes up because, like I said, for the first Game of Thrones, the original series, for a long time, that was tracking to be my favorite show ever made. And then the last season came out, and man, the disappointment I felt for that is incredible. So I can't even go back and rewatch it. So I'm not going to sit here and recommend The House of the Dragon. I could just say, hey, if you're a fan, those first 2 episodes are good. But we ran a little long on this one. If you guys are fans of us doing this, please make sure you leave your questions for next week's video. We're going to answer them, obviously, like we answered these ones. We have so much fun making these. Just sitting around drinking and talking movies with you guys, talking Blu-rays. And it's cool that people out there collect just like we do and really are just interested in the whole collecting of physical media.
Yep.
So we'll be back next week for episode 4 of Let's Talk Physical Media. But if you haven't yet, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And tell all your friends.